How do you turn a $1.2 billion bankruptcy into a $3 billion global empire while on a government salary? Most people see Jared Kushner as a diplomat. The mechanics show a predator who used the Abraham Accords as a lead generation tool for his own firm. He didn't just broker peace, he brokered a future where the Saudi crown prince personally overruled his own advisors to hand Kushner a $2 billion blank check. This isn't about politics. It's the story of the most successful pay-to-play scheme in modern business history. Today, we're stripping back the politics to reveal the real payout. How Kushner successfully weaponized the US State Department into his own personal, multi-billion-dollar lead gen engine. In 2018, Kushner's family was staring at a $1.2 billion bill for 666 Fifth Avenue. It was a building bleeding cash with no buyers in sight. While Kushner was officially shaping Middle East policy, a secret firm called Brookfield Asset Management, whose second largest shareholder is the Qatari Sovereign Wealth Fund, and suddenly they signed a 99-year lease, paying the entire rent up front. The debt was liquidated. The Kushners were saved. But this wasn't a real estate deal. It was a masterclass in using geopolitical leverage to fix a private balance sheet. Now, let's look at how he scaled this into the Saudi billions. After leaving the White House, Kushner launched Affinity Partners and immediately went to the Saudi Public Investment Fund for cash. The PIF's internal due diligence panel formally rejected the deal, citing Kushner's inexperience and unsatisfactory operations. They saw a novice in Jared, however. The Crown Prince saw an ally. In a ruthless display of power, Mohammed bin Salman personally overruled his own investment board, handing Kushner a $2 billion commitment. This wasn't an investment in a fund, it was a $2 billion retainer for the only man who could bridge the gap between Riyadh and the US political elite. Kushner's structure is designed for guaranteed income, not just performance. Even if he doesn't make a single successful trade, he wins. By securing a standard 1.25% management fee on the $2 billion Saudi commitment, Kushner pulls in $25 million every single year, just for existing. While typical VCs hunt for unicorns, Kushner built a system where the fee is the business model. He successfully converted political proximity into a permanent, high-margin annuity. Kushner didn't just hunt for deals, he hunted for sovereign-backed shortcuts. By now, he was well integrated into the Trump family and political sphere. In 2024, his firm moved into Albania and Serbia to secure prime government land for $1.5 billion luxury developments. And the mechanics were brutal. In Albania, the government modified its own environmental laws to allow construction on the protected Sazan Island. In Serbia, they passed a special law that bypassed heritage protections, allowing Kushner to build a luxury hotel over a site of national importance. This wasn't standard real estate. Kushner didn't compete for land. He secured 99-year leases for nearly nothing in exchange for diplomatic alignment. He effectively weaponized his political brand to become the go-to developer for governments looking to trade land for influence with the Trump family. By controlling these high-value coastal and urban hubs, Kushner built a physical, geopolitical fortress where the host governments were his business partners, essentially ensuring his investment was legally and politically bulletproof. In 2025, Kushner used his Gulf-backed capital to pivot into high-stakes tech and defense. He launched BrainCo, an AI startup that targeted a specific, ruthless niche, helping foreign governments apply AI to their national security and internal operations. The mechanics were genius. He raised billions from Saudi Arabia and Qatar, then turned around and invested that same money into Israeli military tech companies like Phoenix Holdings and the naval shipbuilder Shlomo Holdings. This created a closed-loop ecosystem. He was the middleman for Arab nations funding the very defense industries they once boycotted. He didn't just profit from the peace, he profited from the equipment that maintained it. By late 2025, Kushner's fund joined a $52 billion deal to take Electronic Arts, EA, private. Why video games, you ask? Because the underlying technology and massive server architecture, along with digital world building, is the same foundation needed for the modern AI-driven state. He wasn't just buying a game company, he was securing the digital infrastructure for the next generation of government control. Kushner effectively moved his business model from real estate developer to geopolitical tech broker. He leveraged his role as Special Envoy for Peace in 2026 to ensure his portfolio companies were the primary contractors for reconstruction in conflict zones. This was the ultimate payoff. The diplomatic negotiator and the private contractor became the same person. He wasn't just at the table, he owned the table, the chairs, and the building they were sitting in. In September 2025, Kushner executed his largest power play yet. He joined a consortium with the Saudi Public Investment Fund and Silver Lake to take the gaming giant Electronic Arts, EA, private in a $55 billion leveraged buyout, the largest in history. The mechanics went beyond gaming. By taking EA private, the consortium seized control of a massive digital platform with billions of users and their behavioral data. Stockholders received a 25% premium in cash, but the real prize was the data and the cultural influence. Kushner wasn't just another investor at the table. He was the architect of the credit. He leveraged his elite network to lock in a massive $20 billion debt package from JP Morgan Chase, the largest of its kind. This move proved he could move institutional Wall Street capital with the same surgical precision he used to move Gulf oil money. He didn't need to provide the cash. He provided the bridge, turning a high-risk tech buyout into a bankable certainty. While the public focused on political friction, Kushner was quietly buying into both sides of the regional economy. He utilized his Gulf-backed capital to acquire a massive stake in Phoenix Holdings, one of Israel's largest insurance and finance conglomerates. The mechanics were purely tactical. By becoming a top shareholder in a firm that manages over $100 billion in assets, Kushner secured a piece of the literal foundation of the Israeli economy, everything from mortgages to government-backed infrastructure projects. This created a peace dividend that functioned like a toll booth. He used Saudi and Qatari cash to fund the very financial institutions that drive Israeli expansion. He didn't just bridge a diplomatic gap, he built a financial loop where he collects a fee from every dollar moving across the border. In early 2026, Kushner used his official role as Special Envoy for Peace to unveil a radical proposal for reconstructing the Gaza coastline. He didn't frame it as a humanitarian aid project, he framed it as a high-end luxury real estate opportunity. The mechanics were cold and calculated. Kushner suggested moving civilians out so that the valuable waterfront property could be developed into a Mediterranean resort hub. By treating a war zone like an undeveloped beach in Florida, he shifted the conversation from sovereignty to market value. This wasn't just talk. His business partner, Steve Witkoff, another Manhattan real estate mogul turned diplomat, helped spearhead the nasty plan. They positioned reconstruction not as a government expense, but as a business venture where their own firms and Gulf partners could act as the primary developers. He effectively used the leverage of American diplomacy to scout for the world's most distressed real estate. He didn't just want an end to the conflict, he wanted to own the space all for himself. In late 2025, Kushner shifted his capital toward soft power by backing Paramount Skydance's massive $108 billion attempt to take over Warner Bros. Discovery. This wasn't a standard investment. It was an attempt to control one of the world's largest content libraries and the CNN news network. The mechanics were purely defensive. While Democratic lawmakers raised alarms about foreign money influencing American media, Kushner positioned his firm, Affinity Partners, as a key financing bridge alongside Saudi and Qatari wealth funds. By inserting himself into the deal, he aimed to control the very distribution channels that could frame his geopolitical maneuvers as diplomatic wins rather than private acquisitions. Although Affinity eventually backed out after the deal dynamics shifted, the move revealed Kushner's ultimate insurance strategy. He realized that the most dangerous threat to a $6 billion empire isn't a bad trade, it's a bad narrative. By attempting to own the news cycle, he was looking to buy the power to shape or even delete his own controversies before they could hit the airwaves. In early 2026, while serving as the official Special Envoy for Peace, Kushner executed his most controversial move. He began soliciting an additional $5 billion for his firm from the exact same Gulf states he was negotiating with on behalf of the US government. The mechanics were a total blur between public service and private profit. As of May 2026, his firm, Affinity Partners, has seen its assets jump to over $6 billion, with roughly 99% of that money coming from foreign sources. He successfully positioned himself as the indispensable middleman who talks peace with his left hand and collects investment checks with his right. This created the ultimate geopolitical shield. By managing the personal wealth of Middle Eastern monarchs while directing US policy toward rivals like Iran, Kushner made himself too connected to fail. He isn't just an advisor or an investor anymore. He has become a permanent, multi-billion-dollar fixture in the machinery of global power, ensuring that no matter who is in office, the fees keep flowing. The rise of Jared Kushner isn't a story about real estate, and it certainly isn't about traditional politics. It is a clinical study in the conversion of access into an asset class. While most operators spend decades building a track record of returns to earn the trust of sovereign funds, Kushner skipped the line by offering something more valuable than profit: geopolitical insurance. By the end of 2026, the structure of his empire is practically untouchable. He has successfully created a closed-loop system where he manages the money of the people he used to negotiate with, invests that money into the infrastructure of their rivals, and collects a guaranteed 8-figure fee regardless of whether the deals actually succeed. He didn't just build a fund. He built a diplomatic toll booth that sits at the intersection of Wall Street, the West Wing, and the Middle East. The built different takeaway is simple. Kushner recognized that in a world of massive volatility, leverage isn't just debt, it's proximity. He leveraged a $1.2 billion family crisis into a $6 billion global empire, not by working harder, but by changing the mechanics of the game. He realized that if you own the relationships between nations, the market will always find a way to keep you liquid. As we move further into 2026, Kushner's model is becoming the new blueprint for the global elite. It's no longer about what you build. It's about the distribution of influence you control. Whether you view it as a master stroke of strategy or the ultimate pay-to-play scheme, one thing is undeniable. The system didn't just let Jared Kushner in. It was redesigned to make him a permanent part of the foundation. If you want to understand how the world's most ruthless operators actually build their empires, you need to stop looking at the speeches and start looking at the deal mechanics. Hit the subscribe button to see who we're stripping back next. We don't do motivation, we do systems. You're watching Built Different.